Come on into the building. Tell somebody, go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. Happy Easter to everybody. Hope today finds you happy, healthy. All right. As you can see today, we're going to talk about some stuff that you guys may not necessarily know about. I want to kind of get you to understand what everybody else may be on that the Americans may not know. Okay. You can do your own research on what I talked about today as pertaining to our health and what we can do to try to combat what is going on in our environment, especially when dealing with cold and flu viruses and pneumonias and things of that nature, and just trying to keep ourselves together. So I'm gonna give you a couple more minutes to kind of tap on in. Go tell somebody to go tell somebody your home. You guys see the title. We're talking about how COVID-19 is currently treating the people of China. Okay, what are they doing over there to get their numbers down? And you'll see that it's a combination of not only Western medicine or modern medicine, but it's also with the supplementation or the help of traditional Chinese medicine. And here's the thing. They have been on Chinese traditional medicine since around February the 10th. It was mandated that all of them who had the coronavirus go and see traditional Chinese medical practitioners. Okay. That's something that you guys don't know as far as why the numbers of coronavirus in China has come down a little bit. It's because they are using their traditional Chinese medicine. They're using herbs. Okay? They're using herbs to help out with the coronavirus. All right. And not just in the preventive phase, but also as a treatment. Okay. And I'm not a doctor, so I'm going to say I'm not telling you guys to do anything that, I wouldn't do, but I would definitely do my research on herbs. With this particular video, I'm going to be telling you about the herbs that they are using. Not something that necessarily I'm promoting for you to do, but I do want you to get the information. I want you to kind of see why they're using some of the herbs that they're using. I also want you to understand that they are using herbs so that you can understand that herbs are very, very much usable in this particular situation. You can definitely get some utilization and get some efficacy out of the herbs if you just only knew what you needed and why. Okay. And so what is this virus? We're talking about dampness or cold being in the system. Okay. And we know that if you got dampness or cold, then we need to replace that with some heat. And if you got too much heat, then we need to remove that excess heat, right? And so we're gonna be playing tic-tac-toe with the disease and with the ailments or with the illnesses of a patient or a client. We got to understand where they are in their particular stage or phase of disease. If you're just only dealing with a cold and flu symptoms right now, then let's just only deal with cold and flu herbs. Okay. If you're dealing with inflammation in the lungs, well, then let's extract that heat from the lungs. If you're dealing with dampness in the lungs, well, then let's extract that excess mucus or excess water from the lungs. So different places, different phases. If you're dealing with body aches and pains, right, that are associated with pneumonia and bronchitis and very severe respiratory issues, then we also are dealing with chills or with fever, then we have to do something about that. We got to give you something like a febrifuge, right, to break that fever, to bring that those temps back down. Okay, so a lot of different aspects that we got to do. So when I tell you about these herbs, you're going to see that they utilize a lot of different herbs for these very reasons, was to be able to pinpoint exactly what was going on in the patients or in the clients that they were dealing with. Now, this came in my email, and it was from a Dr. John K. Shin. Okay, and basically it was telling us With the Wuhan on lockdown for more than 10 days, the Chinese government announces a major change in strategy. All patients with confirmed infections are to use Chinese medicines effective immediately, February 10th, 2020. Okay. And basically, what this is saying is that the medical treatment unit of Wuhan's novel coronavirus 2019 nCoV, currently named COVID-19 Prevention and Control Headquarters, issued a notice regarding the agreement to recommend the use of Chinese medicine in the treatment of pneumonia due to infection from the novel coronavirus. So their government said, hey, look, we know that we have some stuff that we could rectify this with, and we need to go back to that thing, which is the traditional Chinese medicine. Now, here's the thing. We don't have a whole lot of that over here, okay? We don't have a whole lot of traditional American medicine, so to speak, right? We kind of, grab from here, there, and then we make things of our own. So it's very important then to not necessarily know about herbs. Again, this goes back to some of my previous videos, especially, and I'm talking about inspiring herbalists right now. I'm talking to those who inspire to be herbalists, who inspire to help heal and all that type of stuff. You need to learn about herbs and know about herbs. But the most important way to come up with decoction is to really, really know the materia medica, or in essence, know the actions of herbs. Okay. You need to formulate your formulas based on actions, not necessarily just the herbs, because some herbs you may not have in your area, but there are other herbs that still have those actions. Okay. And so if you're stuck on an herb and you can't get it, if it's not in, you can't get it in the mail, or if it's not growing in your backyard, you have to know actions to know that there's some other herbs out there that can still give you the action you're looking for. You're looking for an expectorant, right? It's not just lobelia. It's a whole lot of other herbs out there that could be very good expectorants. Okay, if you're looking for, a hepatic herb, right? Something for the liver. It's a lot of herbs out there. It's not just milk thistle, but you have also dandelion, okay, and other herbs out there that are very conducive to helping out the liver as well. When we're talking about the kidneys, it's not just juniper berry. You got cedar berries, you got other kind of things out there that will still give you a great diuretic action. Okay, so those are the types of things that you really want to know. But I just kind of want to shoot this to you. So again, the Chinese government mandated them. All right, and the notice emphasizes that all designated medical institutions in Wuhan will ensure that all infected patients take Chinese medicine. Okay, and this was Chinese medicine decoctions and or granules before midnight on February the 3rd, 2020. All right. Now, this was a collaboration between the Western and Chinese medicine. All right. And undoubtedly, it was welcoming news to the people of Wuhan, especially as the results from the front line of Wuhan have been promising. All right. So they basically did, a group of people brought in on January the 29th, 2020. They brought some people in, and they did this collaboration, so to speak, with Western medicine and Chinese medicine on the groups of people that were coming in. All right. And by the 30th, they started getting, that was kind of the first rounds of patients. And so it said for that particular round, the severity of patient conditions was unexpected, and the entire ward was more or less quiet, as these patients were so weak that it seemed that they did not even have enough to moan. Most of the patients treated were urgently, critically, or severely ill. Many of them had high fever, a thick tongue coating, slippery and wiry pulses, bowel incontinence, and little to no expression on their faces, perhaps from just being fatigued. Okay. And then, so basically, on February the 1st, 2020, another round of patients came through. Some patients' fever had been reduced. So when they, I guess on the 29th, they brought them in. On the 30th, they gave them the herbal formulas. And then on the 1st, they began to start really observing them, and they saw that some patients' fever had already been reduced in 24 hours. There were more patients with low-grade fever. By and large, tongue coatings changed from thick and greasy to thin. and patients' stools were more formed. Furthermore, the patients now had the energy to speak for up to 5 sentences before the onset of mild wheezing. Also, in general, coughing was significantly less compared to before. Patient self-reports of conditions have improved quite a bit. Patients can now sit up and practice the Qigong exercise, the 8 brocade in bed. And then by February the 4th, 2020, nearly 50 patients in the ward had clearly improved. The effectiveness of Chinese herbal treatments are being actively observed and witnessed in this clinical setting. All right. So again, you're starting to see day by day, people were getting better and better and better and better. They began to start doing different collaborations and different decoctions and concoctions on people, just based on different ailments and different things that people say that they were going through and feeling, and so they just kept on and kept on and kept on. Remember, this is February the 4th now, when they have about 50 patients. Okay. And it says that for the first time, 8 patients treated with traditional Chinese medicine or a combination of traditional Chinese and Western medicine were discharged from the hospital. Okay. 8 patients that had a collaboration was discharged, but there were some that just took straight traditional Chinese medicine and was able to go home. Okay. The efficacy of herbs. All right. On January the 28th, Dr. Huang Luqi, the chair of the Chinese Academy of Chinese Medical Sciences, led the medical team of Guang'anmen Hospital and Beijing Zhaoyun Hospital of the Chinese Academy of Chinese Medical Sciences to support Wuhan. All right. And Chinese medicine combined with Western medicine treatment by syndrome differentiation greatly improved the patient's breathing issues, fatigue, dry mouth, bitterness, chest tightness, diarrhea, and other symptoms. Okay. Now, this is February the 3rd, 2020. 8 confirmed patients were discharged from the first ward of the South Building of Wuhan Hospital. This represents the first group of patients who were discharged from a hospital using traditional Chinese medicine or a combination of traditional Chinese medicine and Western medicine. Amongst them, 6 were female, 2 were male. Of these, 6 were severe and 2 were mild cases. The age range of the patients were from 26 to 68. After treatment with traditional Chinese medicine and herb, most patients have obviously improved symptoms and an overall improved mental state. At the time of discharge, each patient was sent home with a 2-week dose of Chinese herbs, along with instructions on appropriate exercise and proper diet in order to gain full recovery. All right. So that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. And then it clearly just says, hey, you need to share this article and herbal prescriptions with everyone. All right. And this is, again, something that I got through my email. Do we know if this is true or not? We don't know. We may have to continue. We may not ever know. They may not ever give herbs, and I doubt they ever will give herbs the credit or the benefit of being able to be the one that they leaned on to help us out through these days. But I'm telling you, I'm charging you to do your research. All right, do your research and do your due diligence to understand the efficacy of herbs and how they have been and will always be a part of our healing process. This is the bottom line, and we're going to have to understand that and know that moving forward, because this is not going to be the first. This is not going to be the first or the last time that this is going to happen, especially in days coming. Okay, because of the environment and how toxic everything has gotten and how genetically modified things have become. You're putting things in your body, whether you're breathing it in, whether you're ingesting it or getting it injected into you. You're getting stuff into your body that is just foreign to your body, and your body does not understand how to break something down, how to pull anything from it. All right. And so we're just kind of spinning our wheels when we're not eating foods that give us nutrition. All right. When we're not exercising, we're not giving our bodies the proper oxygen, the proper nitrogen, hydrogen, and carbon that it needs to run as sufficient and optimal as we would like for it to do. Okay. And that's why we need to get back to herbs. All right. We need to get back to growing our own foods, because although you may go out and get fresh fruits and vegetables, it does not mean that they're not heavily laden with chemicals. Okay. That it takes to mass produce these fruits and vegetables that you're eating. So you want to be very careful. Your only way out is to go back to growing your own food. It is truly your only way out of this particular thing. And not only that, but coupled with understanding herbs, all right? Because you're going to have to grow some things, and then you're going to have to depend on the things that God grows in order, and then that's your perfect combination. Things that you grow to feed yourself, and things that God grows to heal you from diseases and issues and ailments, all right? So that's just a tad bit. All right. Now, in the fight against the pandemic, hospital of traditional Chinese medicine diligently used the specialties of TCM in cooperation with relevant departments to study and formulate pneumonia prevention and treatment programs, revealing that Chinese herbs played a definitive role in positive treatment outcomes. Chinese herbal formulas harbor the unique potential to reduce fever and cough symptoms, limit disease progression, and improve overall immunity, and thus a person's ability to mount an essential immune response to the virus. Now, although this article and although this information may seem as if we are promoting traditional Chinese medicine, I'm not, okay? And I'm not saying that they don't work. What I'm trying to say is that I'm just promoting God's given herbs, period. It doesn't matter where you're at. Do your research about different types of herbs. That's why the actions of the herbs are going to be more important, because you may not be in China, nor may you be able to get your hands on some of these Chinese herbs, but you can get your hands on some of these herbs that have the actions that they're looking for. So be mindful that while we're going through the video, that you jot down the actions that they utilize these herbs for, okay? Because that's going to be the most important thing. So again, it's not a big up on traditional Chinese medicine. This is a big up on herbs, the herb community as a whole. You know, we have a lot of people on here talking to you guys about being healthy, but I don't think they really wanting you to be healthy. You know, I'm starting to think that people who disguise themselves as healers are really dealers, okay, are really herbal dealers. And so we got to be careful with people who are just money hungry, who are just wanting you to buy, and you never know why, okay? And so you really, really need to support those people that break this particular subject matter down good enough for you to understand what you're doing, okay? Everybody's not going to come to me because everybody may not understand my delivery, all right? You may have to go to some other person that speaks in a different way that can get you to understand the subject matter in the way you need to go, all right? So everybody has a role to play in this, but you still want to make sure that whoever you're listening to, it's just like with religion. You want to make sure that they're real, true women and men of God. You want to make sure that they're real, true women and men of health, all right? And able to really bring that ministry of health to you in a way for you to understand what you really need to get out of the ordeal, okay? So prevention, okay? Talking about prevention, all right, and what the Chinese did in the prevention phase. So this is going out to those who may not have the particular coronavirus, who may not be showing symptoms of the virus as of yet. And this is what the Chinese said, well, this is what we want to do for those who are in the preventive stage or in the preventive phase. And what they did was they prescribed, let's see, about 7 different traditional Chinese herbs, all right? And the first one was Huang Qi, all right? Huang Qi, or astragalus, all right? That was the first one, astragalus. And astragalus is an adaptogenic herb and is also a liver tonic, all right? Now, before I go into this, I'm going to kind of give you the secret off rip. I'm gonna give you the hint off rip of what you should be looking for. I always say everything has a rhyme and a reason. All right. You're gonna see as we go through this, it's gonna be a rhyme and a reason to everything that they're doing and why. The Chinese believe that all things are connected to 12 meridians in the body, 12 meridians. All right. And so depending on the herbs is also each herb also has a meridians or meridians that it may be connected to. And what that means is that these are the meridians that this particular herb helps to unclog or unblock or helps to free up, all right? And for astragalus, the meridian for that is the lungs. And we all know that astragalus is one of the greatest lung tonics that you can get out there. So in the preventive medicine phase, astragalus was one of the #1 herbs that they used in their concoction. All right. The next one was atractylotus. All right. Atractylotus. All right. And it's called Beiju. and it was a digestive. All right, and it was good for the digestive system. So they had something for the liver, they had something for the digestive system, which is your small intestine, your large intestine, your stomach, all three combined. They got something for that. So again, they're looking at lungs, they're looking at the digestive system. All right, then they had feng fang. Feng fang is called silver root. All right, and that was for the body aches and the chills and excess phlegm and all of that type of stuff. So that was your analgesic. That's for your pain. Okay. All right, that was the third herb that they used for preventive medicine phase. All right, the fourth one is Myanmar Guanzhong. All right, Myanmar Guanzhong, and that was dry up terrace, chrysaroma, rhizomoma. Say that again. Dryopteris, chrysaroma. All right. That was for antibacterial and antiviral. All right. The next one was Jinyin Hua. Now, you guys may not understand the words that I'm saying because I can barely, but just know I'm giving you the also English name, which is Japanese honeysuckle. All right. Japanese honeysuckle is a antibiotic. Shingpai, which is tangerine peel dried. That was for the immune system, all right, the immunity booster. They had Paylen, which is Eupatorium, all right, Eupatorium, and that was for indigestion, but it was also for antibacterial, antiviral. Again, this is just preventive, right? So now look at the actions. You have a liver tonic, a digestive. If you're dealing with any kind of pain, body aches, chills, whatever, they had that. Antibacterial, they got an antibody for the whole system. They had some immune stuff, and they also added another antibacterial, antiviral in there. So you got two herbs that was fighting the antibacterial, antiviral. You had a pain reliever. You had an antibiotic to also help out with any kind of bacterial infections. You had an immune booster. You had a digestive to make sure that everything is moving freely in the digestive tract. And then you had an adaptogenic herb, all right, that was good for the whole body and something that was also going to be able to tonify the liver, okay? And so for you to understand that the purpose was for this particular phase was for it to strengthen your immune system, okay? That is the purpose for that particular concoction. It is for it to strengthen your immune system. Remember that this is the preventive phase before you have any kind of symptom, before you catch anything, all right? And it was also to help alleviate early symptoms and shorten the duration of the virus. So let's say if you was very early in the phase of catching it, and let's say in this phase, which is the more critical phase, because on the news we're seeing that you can still spread it and don't have any symptoms. That's when you really would need something like this. You would really need to be taking something preventive. And I would encourage everybody to go out and find different herbs that could help out. We're talking about astragalus, okay? So again, you need a liver tonic, a digestive, analgesic. You need 2 antibacterial, antivirals. All right, you need 1 antibiotic, and you need an immunity booster. 7 herbs. 7 herbs, okay? Just continue to rewind this back, and then you guys can get that particular action rundown right there, and then you can start looking at stuff. Now, what you want to look for, again, remember the meridians. When you're looking at your herbs, if you have a database that could link up the Chinese meridians to the herbs, then you could always find, you want to always have the herb dealing with something with the lungs, the liver, the spleen, the gallbladder, the stomach, the large intestine, the small intestine. You always want to do that. All right. Now, from what my teachers, the people that I learned from, they always said that if you're dealing with a lung issue anyway, you want to be able to detoxify the liver. You want to be able to clear out the small intestine and the large intestine when dealing with any kind of lung issue. So that right there, in a nutshell, that is coming from a African traditional doctor. Okay, my teacher that I'm talking about who said that was African traditional doctor, and this is traditional Chinese medicine. They're both talking about the same thing though, just in two different formats. Okay, so now what we're understanding that when you have any kind of lung issues, you must go back. All right, you must go back and figure out what either caused the lung issues or what the lung issues could also be the cause of. It's a twofold question. What what can make the lung issue worse? And because of the issue in the lung, what else could that affect in our bodies? Okay, and it's most likely going to always be something associated with your digestive system, with your blood, your spleen, gallbladder, your liver. Spleen, gallbladder, liver are going to be very good for cleansing the blood, for being antipyretic and going in there and removing the poison out of the cells, strengthening your cell walls, strengthening your cells, period. And astragalus is very good for that as well. It's very good for increasing white blood cells. It's very good for inducing phagocytes within the body, and these phagocytes go and they just eat up other foreign cells that are in your body. Okay, and so that's why astragalus is one of the greatest things, because not only is it a good immunity booster, but it's also good for cell production and increasing cell production, the right cell production, so that you can go in there and really have your team strong. And then on top of that, is giving, is adding more energy for your phagocytes to be produced. Woo! I mean, you're going to have a real well machine right there. So astragalus is going to be your go-to. And if you can find some of these herbs, then use some of these herbs like Japanese honeysuckle, tangerine peel dried, eupatorium. You can get that. Silver root, dropteris. I don't know if you can get dropteris. You can't get Atractalotus, but you can look for it. Okay, look for these particular things, and you will definitely find them. Okay. All right, now that was for the preventive phase. All right, now let's say they came down with the flu. From this article, they're saying if they came down with the flu or the onset of fever, mostly a low-grade fever, if it was the aversion to cold and the fear of cold, chills, headache, ticklish throat, soreness of muscles and limb, no sweat or night sweats, then this was the formula that they gave to them. So now let's say you went from real mild symptoms to now you got the flu. Okay, now you got the flu. What did they use? The first herb they used was kudzu, Kudzu. All right. The second herb they used was ephedra. Okay. Now let's go back to kudzu. Kudzu was your antibacterial, antiviral, antimicrobial herb. Okay, that was for that. All right. The second one was ephedra. That was a diaphoretic. Okay, that was to induce sweating. All right, make you sweat out some of the toxins. All right. The third herb they used was cinnamon, and cinnamon was used as an antibiotic as well as a stomachic in this particular case. The fourth herb they used was white peony, and that was used for a blood tonic. Okay. The fifth herb they used was ginger. Ginger was used for antibacterial, antifungal, antibiotic, and anti-inflammatory actions. Okay. All right. The next one was the Chinese licorice. All right. Chinese licorice is good for pretty much everything. So what we call that is a detoxicant. All right. It's used to actually remove poison from the body. All right. Actually, to remove poison from the body, we call that a detoxicant. And that's what Chinese licorice in this particular formula was used for. All right. The next one was Chinese date. Okay. Chinese date, and they use that for a blood tonic, a liver tonic, and to also help out as a detoxicant. Okay. And last but not least, they use Japanese honeysuckle once again as an antibiotic, and this was for the influenza phase. Okay. Now, if you had a headache and all that type of stuff with the flu, then they added what they call Baiji, which was Angelica, and that was going to be your analgesic. That's be a mild pain reliever, and that should take care of your headache. If you had the dry or ticklish throat with the flu, then they were going to add Qigong, okay? And Qigong is going to be blackberry lily, okay? And that was going to be an expectorant, all right, for you to kind of cough up that phlegm, that thickness, and try to get that excess mucus up out of your system, all right? Now, if you were diagnosed with toxic heat attacking the lungs, so here, this is where you go from now you got fever, aversion to a cold, sore and dry throat, dry cough, scanty sputum. With scanty sputum, that's your spit, sore and painful muscles in the limbs, weakness, headache. All right. Maybe they done examination and the CT scan revealed both lungs to have scattered ground glass opacity. All right. Tips and sides of the tongue are red, thin, white, or yellow tongue coating, floating in rapid pulse. Okay. Then basically you were in this phase where you had heat attacking your lungs. So what do we need to do? Remember, you got heat attacking your lungs. So I need to remove that excess heat out of your lungs. Okay. I need to give you some anti-inflammatories, but I also need to give you some cooling herbs as well. All right. Now let's see what the Chinese people did in this particular phase. All right. Now this is flu formula number 2 with the heat being in the lungs. All right. Now they gave them Japanese honeysuckle as an antibiotic for this. That was the first herb. Then they went with weeping forsythia. All right. Weeping forsythia, and that was for the fever. So that was acting as a febrifuge, right? To bring down the fever, the cooling, all right? Bring down the hot. That was the cooling, all right? Then they added Shiznopita, all right? Shizonopita. Shizonopita. That was a diaphoretic to have that sweating go on. The next one was burdock root. That was your alternative, okay? That was for your blood cleansing. The next one was field mint, okay? Field mint. That was for the lung and the liver. That was going to be the antibacterial, all right? The next one was the Chinese licorice, all right? That one's going to be for the lung and the stomach. Remember, that's your detoxicant, all right? The next one was Lophaterum gracile. Lophaterum gracile, and that was for the stomach, the small intestine, and the heart. And that was for like any kind of tumors, any kind of growth going on. Then that would have been it for that. So we called it an anti-tumor herb. All right. And then you had Lu Gin. Lu Gin was is basically called Phragmites. Okay, and Phragmites was for fever. All right, and that is a alexateric. All right, a alexateric. Alexateric herb is also another herb that removes poison from your body. Okay, alexateric. Alexeteric. Alexateric. All right, and it was also anti-asthmatic herb. All right, so that was going to be good for breaking the fever as well as helping out with any type of asthmatic conditions. Okay. Now, the last one is Coptis, Coptis. All right, that was the last herb, and that was a antibacterial herb. And remember, now this was for the inflammation right there. All right, so you got a lot of herbs right here that are providing a little cool. They're promoting the elimination of toxins, trying to get the stuff that's causing the inflammation out of your body. Then they're bringing your temperature down, right? Okay, then they're attacking the bacteria itself. Okay, and then again with the detoxicant and the alexateric, both of those are trying to remove the toxins out of your body. They're trying to get it out of your body. So in this particular formula, the difference here is that you see they have two things trying to remove the poison from your body: detoxicant and an alexateric herb. Okay, and then they got a bunch of them doing the antibacterial, antiviral, and then they have some cooling, and then they got some stuff to handle the inflammation itself. So that's how you kind of formulate that. Remember that. Okay, antibiotic, febrifuge, diaphoretic, alternative, antibacterial, detoxicant, anti-tumor, alexateric, and antibacterial. That is what they use for those who had inflammation in the lung. Okay. Now, if you had damp and cold in your lung, all right, you had the flu, but you have cold and damp in your lung. This is the formula they use for those people that had those conditions. All right. Now, the first one was they went back to attract the lotus. All right. They went back to attract the lotus for that. And we know that that's going to be an adaptogenic, but it's also good for the digestive system. All right. So now here you have dampened and cold. And the first herb they went to was to get a digestive out. Okay. To try to get this cold out of your body. All right. So attract the lotus. The next one was tangerine peel dried. We know that that was going to be good for your immune system. All right. The next one was magnolia bark. Okay. Magnolia bark was going to be that anti-asthmatic. Okay. So that anti-asthmatic. So that was going to help fight against any of the asthmatic conditions that may be causing, that may be there due to the flu and due to that dampness being inside of the lung area. All right. They also got some antibacterial, antifungals. All right. We got two of those. One is patchouli oil. The next one is Amomum Sayako. Amomum Sayako. AMOMUMTSAOKO. Sayako. Okay. And that is a antibacterial, antifungal, as well as patchouli oil. All right. Then the next one is a diaphoretic, because I got to get you to sweat. I got to get this stuff out of you, right? So that they use ephedra for that. All right. And then you got to get some pain relievers. So that was no top pterygium. All right, no top pterygium. No top pterygium. And that is a mild pain reliever as well as a antibiotic. Okay. And then the next one was going to be ginger, which is your anti-inflammatory. And then we got areca nut, Areca nut, areca nut. And that's your antiviral, antifungal. And that was going to be to remove the damp and cold out of your body. So that means that now you have to put heat in there. So now look at what we gave them: a digestive, an immunity booster, an anti-asthmatic, uh, two antibacterial, antifungals. Well, three actually: antibacterial, antifungals, one diaphoretic, and then another antibiotic. Okay. And that was going to try to get that damp and cold taken care of. Now, the purpose of this was to reduce the severity of symptoms, shorten the duration, and alleviate emotional burden if they can. Now, you add a little bit of acupressure to that from what they're saying here, and that's how they were going to be able to do it. So not only were these people being supplied the herbs, they also were being supplied something like acupuncture or acupressure to go along with the Western medicine. So that was also a component to it. I don't want to leave that out. So they were taking herbs as well as being prescribed some type of acupuncture or acupressure, because hitting those, taking herbs to help unblock those meridians, it's almost a double whammy to try to unblock those meridians and get that actual flow, that chi going back into those areas. Okay, so they pretty much did a double whammy and used acupuncture and use the opening of the herbs. Okay, and we can do the same thing over here. You can either go to an acupuncturist, or I'm an acupressurist, hello, or you can go to people like myself who know how to find the acupressure points or the acupuncture points, and as well as using the herbs, as well as with a proper diet, as well as whatever the medication you're using for your issue, we may be able to get you some very, very good help. And you may not necessarily have to worry about dying from this particular issue. Okay. Now, the last but not least phase was the pneumonia phase. So again, they walk you through a preventive phase. They walk you through two instances of flu phases where you may have inflammation in the lungs plus the flu, or you may have dampness in the lungs plus the flu. Okay. Now we're getting into the acute phase or the critical phases of where you're at this pneumonia phase, which is real critical phase. It's the phase where everybody is dying from. Okay. And to know that you got some stuff not only to help you preventatively, but also to be able to treat it while you're dead in the middle of it, is is very good information. And this is what this is all about, because again, we're just highlighting the greatness of herbs on God's green earth. Okay. And the good herbs just don't grow in China. They grow everywhere. They grow everywhere. So again, we need to just understand actions that are needed for certain illnesses, and then we can get the herbs. It may not be the same name, but as long as it'll do the same thing, I'm good. Okay. I just need to know what thing it needs to do. I'll find the herb to do it. And that's the mindset that we need to have, especially moving forward, whether you be aspiring herbalist, whether you are herbalist, or whether you're just a citizen of the world. This is information that you definitely want to have and need to have, because again, the future of medicine is no medicine at all. Tell somebody your homie HerbMan said that. All right. So let's see if I got some people. If you guys got questions, go ahead, man. You guys are I see Trezana Staples said thank you. Nah, thank you very much for tuning in. Go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. I hope that what I'm saying is helpful. Again, you know, this is gonna be on YouTube for however long. You guys can rewind it to really get the synopsis of what I'm saying. Again, we're talking about how COVID-19 is currently treated in China, okay? And just to understand that those people, and just like a lot of other people, have ran to herbs, okay, to help out with this pandemic. And we're the only ones that really don't understand the efficacy of herbs, and we're the kind of the last people that we're trying to get there, but we're last on board when we really need to be first on board with understanding that this stuff really works, okay? Really does work, and it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can combine it and you can collaborate it with Western medicine. Knowledge One, what's going on, bro? I sure appreciate you for tuning in, bro. Like I said, go tell somebody, man. All right, so this next phase is going to be the pneumonia phase. All right, now again, it's a blessing to know that herbs can not only help you in preventative, but also when you get in the thick of things, to know that herbs is just that potent that they can even help you when you're dealing with something acute. I mean, come on, you can't ask for anything better than that. All right, so now what are some of the clinical manifestations of pneumonia? Is that they got the fever, which is more pronounced in the afternoon, okay? Alternating chills with fever, cough, the absence of weaving, bitter taste in the mouth, dry mouth, chest stiffness, stifling sensation, chest and hypochondriac fullness and distension, all right? Irritability, nausea and vomiting, no appetite, weakness, similar to the beginning stage of pneumonia, okay? So bronchitis and pneumonia, you can kind of treat both of them with some of the same herbs. I want to say that, and I'm going to say that again. Bronchitis and pneumonia can be treated with some of the same types of herbs, because they're really both considered at the critical point of the lungs, okay? And so you can use some of the same herbs because they're kind of doing some of the same things when we're talking about the alveoli and what it's doing in that particular sac, okay? So the herbs that they used, the first one was buplurium, all right? Buplurium, that's the first one. Now, buplurium, we know that to be an adaptogenic. It is an alternative, and it is an analgesic, all right? So that's good for pain relieving, it's good for the blood, and it's good for the whole body because it's an adaptogenic drug. All right, now, I mean, an adaptogenic herb. Now, the thing that it was, the meridians is looking for is the liver, the gallbladder, the triple warmer, and the pericardium, okay? Now, the next one is Chinese skullcap. Remember that this is the first pneumonia formula that they use, all right? So the second herb is the Chinese skullcap, and that was used to be an antiviral, and is also used to be an immune booster, okay? An immune booster. The third one is ginger. That's your antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. The fourth one is pinelia. Pinelia is an analgesic, all right? So that's going to be help out with that pain. The fifth one is apricot kernel. The apricot kernel, which is always going to be good to be an anti-cancer. You know, none of the bad cells are trying to formulate any tumors or anything like that within this particular process. That's going to be something good that you definitely want to happen, because that's kind of helping you out on the back end, making sure that cancer don't come out of this, all right? That apricot kernel. All right, the next one is cardamom. All right, and that's going to be your esoteric. All right, again, it's going to help remove poison out of the body, and it's also going to act as a pain reliever. All right, that's cardamom. The next one is coix seed. All right, COIX seed, coix seed, and that was used for a mild pain reliever as well as an anti-inflammatory. All right, and then you got Lupitorium, Gracil again, and that was your detoxicant. All right, you got talcum powder. They use that as an antipyretic. All right, to go in and get parasites and all that type of stuff. And they also use it as a diuretic. All right. Then you have Smilax. Smilax, Smilax, Glabra, Glabra. All right. And they use that as also as an anti-inflammatory and as a blood purifier. Okay. And the last but not least, Chinese. Okay, and you're gonna see there's a theme. There's two herbs that's on everything: Chinese licorice and ginger. Okay, Chinese licorice and ginger. You're gonna hear that on pretty much everything. Um, and so that Chinese licorice is going to be your detoxicant once again. So with this pneumonia, they gave you a detoxicant, an antipyretic, and an esoteric. So to me, that's about three different things that are trying to remove parasites, trying to remove any type of bacterial, any type of virus, any type of fungus, any type of poison out of your body. So they give you three of those, right, when you're dealing with pneumonia. And so, again, they give you a lot of antibacterial stuff. They give you some antibiotics. They gave you some blood work. Herbs are going to be good for blood work. They also gave you some stuff that's going to help you out as far as tumors and any kind of cancer formation that's concerned. It's going to dead that in the water. I mean, as you can see, that when dealing with pneumonia, you're really dealing with the cell and the blood and the virus and the bacteria itself. Okay, you get more into the cellular and really trying to get that rectified when you're going pneumonia. Okay, when you're going flu and kind of other stuff, that's more your organs. But when you get into pneumonia, it kind of gets down into the blood and the cells and the bacteria and the viruses itself and all that type of stuff. It lets you know how critical phase you're going into. All right, and so the next one is going to be, this next formula was for the heat afflicting. So you had pneumonia. Now this is with the inflammation. Pneumonia with the inflammation. All right, the first herb for here is ephedra. Ephedra was going to be your diaphoretic. Apricot kernel, again, for your anti-cancer and to be an antidote. Again, they did coix seed to be a pain reliever. They also used coptis again as an antibacterial. They also came with pinealia again as an antipyretic and expectorant. This time, though, they used snake gourd. Snake gourd was an anthelmintic, all right? And that's also anthelmintic is for parasites. They also here they use a mamam sayako again. We have a new one where they use anemarina, antibacterial, Anemarrhena. Okay. Next one they used a febrifuge. It was called Hutanaye. Hutanaye. The next one they use is Chinese licorice, again, a detoxicant. And they use cardamom, again, as an esoteric, all right, to really try to get the poison out of you, get the parasites out of you, get the bacteria out of you, get the inflammation out of you, okay? You got to understand what they're doing here, okay? You got to understand what they're doing. And while they're trying to get that out of you, they're dealing with your pain at the same time, okay? They're dealing with the pain. They're trying to break the fever, so they use a febrifuge because, again, you got heat in you. So a febrifuge is to cool you down. Remember that we're dealing with inflammation. So the cooling is the febrifuge. I need the detoxicant. I need the esoteric. I need the antibacterial, the antipyretic. All of this is trying to suck all the virus, the bacteria, all of that stuff that's causing these issues is trying to get out of your system. Okay. and that is for damp heat affecting the lung in the second pneumonia phase. All right, now, last but not least was the third pneumonia phase, which is toxic stagnation in the lung, meaning that nothing can move. All right, this is for most people who are on the respiratory. Nothing really right now is moving. The coronavirus, they're saying, is making a really sticky mucus, right? It's very hard to thin. It's very hard to thin out so that you can remain very stubborn as far as moving. And so it's going to be very hard to try to thin that out and try to liquefy it and try to get that to a constituency that it could be removed out of your body. And until they are able to do that, that's why they have to put you on the respiratory, put you on some type of respiratory device. Okay, so you got to understand that phase. Now, this is something that they were dealing with, obviously, in China, and so they got a formula for you. You want to hear it? Here you go. All right. So here it is: the toxic stagnation obstructing the lungs. This is what they put together. All right. The first herb they had was gypsum, and that was used as an antipyretic. The second herb they used was Pneumonia. Pneumonia again. They use Pneumonia. All right, and that was as an antibacterial. The third herb they used was Chinese yam as a detoxicant and an anti-inflammatory. The fourth herb they used was American ginseng as an adaptogenic and immunity booster. All right. The fifth herb they used was Smilex glabra again. And they used that as a blood purifier stomacid. All right. The sixth herb they used was dock. They use it as a diuretic and a febrifuge. The seventh herb was Ranunculate bulbostema. Ranunculate bulbostema. All right. And they use that as an anti-inflammatory. The eighth one was prickly chaff flower. Prickly chaff flower. And they use it as an alternative for the blood. All right, the next one, the ninth one was sappan wood, S-A-P-P-A-N, wood. They use that as a blood purifier as well. So you have a lot of different things here where they're really trying to work with the blood, okay? The next one they used was ground beetle, and they use that one as something circulatory. Again, something that helped the flow of the blood, right? Trying to get that stagnation out of there, okay? The next one they used was mandarin orange, all right? And that was for your digestion. All right. Then they use radish for the anti-inflammatory and the expectorant actions of radish. And they also use lepidum. Okay, lepidum as an anti-asthmatic and as a diuretic. All right. Try to push these toxins out. Remember, the more you pee, the more toxins come out. All right. And then last but not least, they use Loofah cylindrica. Loofah cylindrica. All right, and they use that as an anthelmintic and a tonic, all right, to get rid of the parasites, all that type of stuff, and also to tonify the pulmonary of the lungs. Okay, so that is another thing that they utilize to deal with stagnation in the lungs. So you see, even with that, let's go back to that. They got a lot of parasite stuff, a lot of antibacterial, a lot of detoxicants to remove a lot of stuff out of the blood. And then they got a lot of stuff for the blood as far as a blood purifier. Alternative is a blood cleanser. Okay. And then they got some stuff to, for the circulatory system as well. So you got about 3 different blood cleansers. You got about 3 different or 4 different herbs to get all the parasites, the poison, the bacteria, and all that out of the blood. Okay. And then you got something for your digestive system, right? Because we know that that's where your gut flora, that's where your microbiome is going to be at. And so that's where your main bacteria and all that stuff and blood flow and all that type of stuff is going to be good right there. Again, if you're dealing with the lungs, you're going to have to deal with the small intestine, large intestine. So anything that's already got that constituted in the formula is a great formula for me. And since I know that you're supposed to be dealing with the small intestine, large intestine, the liver, and the lungs, when dealing with the lungs, I look for formula that have things that are adjudicated to the liver, to the small intestines when you're talking about something dealing with the lungs. So this is how this goes. I hope you guys just got that right there. So all I'm looking at when I'm looking at this is, do you got something for these people digestive system? Do you got something for these people liver? And do you got something for their lungs? That's what I'm looking for. And then to help it out, you can have something for the spleen and you can have something for the gallbladder, because the spleen, the gallbladder, and the liver is the blood cleanser, right? To have something for the small and large intestine, that's your digestive system, right? And then now, as far as the lungs, all I'm looking for is an expectorant. I'm looking for, something to have you cough up the mucus. I'm looking for, mullein. I'm looking for something to strengthen the lungs and tonify the lungs. And so now it makes it a little easier to just look for the things that are happening with the lung. You see what I'm saying? So it's not that difficult. Although I gave you a lot of their formulas and their herbs, it's not that difficult if you understand the dichotomy of the body, which is what I'm trying to tell you, why you want to continue to stay tuned in to the HerbMan show, so that you will learn the body and you will learn the herbs in a whole different way, so that you're not just eating out of the hands of those that you trust to tell you about what herbs you should be taking. You got to know yourself well enough to know what you need. You got to know this information well enough to know what you need and what you don't need. I wasn't born trying to be a doctor or herbalist. I did this out of necessity for my family and necessity for myself. I never trusted the medical industry, but I wasn't just gonna kill myself because I wasn't gonna go to the doctor. So what I did was I stood in the gap of my own life. I looked at, there's no difference between the doctor and me. I have the capacity to learn as well as he do. There's no difference in Dr. Sabi and me. There's no difference in none of these people out here than me. I'm just gonna pick up that same book. I'm gonna pick up that same information and I'm gonna apply it to my life as well. And that make me a whole well-rounded individual. That made me more sufficient within myself, where I don't have to necessarily go to a pastor because I don't know the Bible. I don't got to go to a doctor because I don't know medicine, and I ain't got to go to you because I don't know that, and I don't got to go to you because I don't know that. It's all about being self-sufficient. I stand in the gap for all of those things I just said, for not only me, but my family. I'm the pastor of my family. I'm the banker of my family. I'm the healer of my family. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not because I wanted to be that from birth. It's because I took the initiative and the responsibility to learn it so that I can be all encapsulating, so that I could be this for my people. And that's the thing that we got to do moving forward, because more coronaviruses and more viruses like this are going to pop up. And as we continue to get older, it's going to get harder for us to deal with. So show these videos to as many people as you can. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so that you always stay in tune with us, all right? Hit us up on Twitter at Love HerbMan. We're always on Instagram and Facebook, Leaf Vita Essentials INC. We got herbs for days, okay? And we're going to be putting more and more herbs on the site, okay? I'm looking at trying to at least put about 100 to 200 herbs on the site that you guys can get them. And when you get our herbs, they're going to be fresh herbs, right? They're not going to be already made up herbs, so you can make your own blends. You can touch it, you can smell it, all right? You ain't got to hope that it's what it is in the pill that I said it is, but you're going to be able to see what the herb feels like, tastes like, smells like, all right? And these senses are going to be very good for you moving forward, to know what they look like, taste like, and feel like, so that you'll know what they're good for, okay? So that's what we want to do, man. I'm not going to keep you too much longer than what I did right now. If you guys got any more questions, any concerns, please leave them in the drop box. I appreciate your knowledge, one man, for all that you're doing. Continue to share. Like I said, that's all we can do. Each one teach one. Again, if you guys got people out there that are dealing with any of these issues and need answers and need questions answered, okay? They got true up concerns and they need questions answered. Feel free to let them know about your homie, all right? And on top of that, if you're dealing with real chronic issues, really, really bad issues, holler at me, all right? Put it in my Gmail. Let me know something A lot of the stuff that I do for people who are really dealing with life-threatening diseases is most of that treatment is free. Okay, most of that treatment is free. I'm letting you know that. So please hit me up. Bring them, bring them, bring them, bring them. But just remember one thing: I only deal with those people who are committed to the healing process within themselves. All right. When you do that, that's when you're ready. Those are the people I'm looking for. Until next time, man. I love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Go tell somebody to go tell somebody at home it was on, man. Peace. Yes, sir.